Before his retirement, he taught metal fabrication at Cork's Institute of Technology. In his teens, he taught tap dancing and was known as Cork's Fred Astaire and later Cork's Al Jolson. He came within a cat's whisker of representing Ireland in the Eurovision Song Contest of 1968. He was lead singer with two of the most popular bands during the show band era, and he had a #1 hit record in the charts in Ireland and also in Poland. He was born in Bantry, but grew up in Blackpool in the north side of Cork, one member of a very musical family. This evening we bring you the life and music of Pat Lynch, lead singer with the Airchords show band. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on Where the Road Takes Me.
I was born in Bantry, in High Street, Bantry. My mother, God be good to her, she was a Bantry woman. And there was three of us, one my eldest brother Jack and Stevie, God be good to Stevie, and myself. And the rest then were born up in Cork. My father married the second time. He lost his wife, and there was two families there. And they're the same as myself now. Yeah, I was married the second time, but there's only the one family, and they're all grown up now, and I have grandchildren. I have 13 grandchildren, between my family, and their families, and all doing very, very well.
To say that the Lynch family was a musical family would certainly be an understatement. Pat, Tony and the late Steve of the Dixies all drew inspiration from their parents, especially from their mother.
We had a troupe outside in Blackpool. We lived in Blackpool. We lived in O'Brien Street, Blackpool. And my mother started a group there because she loved the music herself. And we started a group called the Don Bosco. And we used to do a pile of charity all over the place. And I took up tap dancing. I learned the tap dance from Carmel Hayes, and she was a great teacher. She's dead and gone now, but God be good to her. And I took up tap dancing, and at the age of, I was only about 16, I was maybe 14, I'm wrong there, I can't, not quite sure, but I started teaching tap dancing, and we formed a band, a tap dancing team then, and I was known, I was doing the concerts around the Cork City and country and all over, and I was known as Paddy Lynch, Cork's Fred Astaire, and then that went on for a while. And one day I picked up the paper and I saw a show that was in the Palace, a film called The Jolson Story, and then I went in to see The Jolson Story, and I was absolutely knocked out with the Jolson songs and all that.
That was Al Jolson.
Al Jolson, yeah. And I went after anyway, and I started doing the Jolson Stories, the songs, going down on my knee with my face blackened and my mouth white all, and I used to go down on one knee, climb upon my knee, sonny boy, and it'd be up in the Spangle Hill Welfare Guild, it was called, then up in Fernreno, but we used to be up there every Sunday night, and I forget now what I used to get, I think it was a £50 or something, where we was good to put on the show for the night. Then I changed from Paddy Lynch, Cork's Fred Astaire, to Paddy Lynch, Cork's Al Jolson.
Sonny boy, though you're only 3, sonny boy, you've no way of knowing, there's no way of showing what you mean to me, sonny boy.
The sound of Al Jolson and Sonny Boy. Well, while Jolson was the idol of Pat Lynch, it was now time to move on and follow the latest trends. A new and exciting musical era was about to begin in Ireland, and Pat Lynch wasn't going to be left behind. Formed in the 1940s, the Clipper Carlton are credited always with starting the show band scene or era. Breaking tradition, and in 1954, the Clipper Carlton decided to stand up to perform, as opposed to the orchestras who had remained seated and played from sheet music. They also discarded the customary tuxedos and replaced them with real cool and mod suits. At the time, Pat Lynch was playing locally with a band called the Golden Eagles.
We were playing below the City Hall relief to Maisie McDaniels and the Fendermen. And George O'Reilly, who was manager of the Clipper Carlton, lived in Strabane. And we went on the relief band, and Maisie McDaniel was going on in the second half of the show. And while I was backstage, George O'Reilly comes up to me. He says, "What's your name?" He says, "Pat Lynch." I said, "You know." He says, "I enjoyed your singing there tonight, Pat." He said, "Do you know?" He says, "The Clipper Carlton." He says, "They're after breaking up." I do. Says I, they're forming two bands. One called the Clipper Carlton, the other called the Santa Fe. And he says, "I'm managing the new Clipper Carlton. And we have a full band now except for one member," he says. "And that could be you if you want the job," he says, "as lead singer of the Clipper Carlton."
How did you feel about that?
I loved the idea of it. But I couldn't give him a straight answer there and then, because I had to discuss it when I went home with the family members and one thing and another. But anyway, I decided to go with the Clipper Carlton. And I was living above in Strabane. I very, very rarely got home down to Cork, and I went on, and we were doing a gig in Dublin then, inside the Olympia Theatre, and there was two bands on the same night. There's Clipper Carlton and the Airchords, and something similar again. We went up and did our job, and next thing the manager of the Airchords came over to me. He said, "Come here," says he, "Pat," he says, "is it true that Clipper Carlton are breaking up?" Says "It's only a matter of time, because we are never the same Clipper Carlton that the show that they used to put on. They used to put on a show there when they're a Saturday night in the arcade, you know, they be called a show band Saturday night, you know, and they were fantastic, great musicians, great, taking off different actors." Well, says I, "It's only a matter of time," says I, "we're doing a date," says I, "really, you know." Well, says he, "Pat," says he, "we're looking for a lead singer," he said, would you be interested?" That's the Airchords now. And I said, "By all means," I said. Anyway, cut a long story short, I went up and I agreed, met the manager. Anyway, I quite decided to join up with the Airchords, and we started off, and everything was going very good.
Once there was a farmer, and a good old soul was he. I used to work upon his farm down in the country. He had a lovely daughter, and her I chanced to win. And when I asked him for her hand, these words he did begin: "Treat me, daughter, kindly, and shade her from all harm. Before I die, I'll will to you my little house and farm, my horse, my dog, my cow, and my bonny sheep and barn, and all the little chickens round the garden." Well, I love this pretty maid, and she loved me just the same. And when my daily work was done, with her I would remain, to watch her milk her father's cow, and shade her from all harm. And many's the glass of milk I drank before I left the farm. Well, now that we are married and we've settled down for life, I often think of our old man and of his good advice, to watch her milk her father's cow and shade her from all harm. And now I am the owner of his little house and farm. Treat me, daughter, kindly, and shade her from all harm. Before I die, I'll will to you my little house and farm, my horse, my dog, my cow, and my bonny sheep and barn, and all the little chickens round the garden.
The Airchords were formed by members of the Irish Air Corps who were stationed at Baldonnel: Sean Kinsella, Arthur O'Neill, Liam Hurley, Al Devine, Ernie Beckenhire, Miles Mooney, Phil O'Reilly and Joe Fitzmaurice. In 1965, Pat Lynch replaced Joe Fitzmaurice as lead vocalist.
We were doing very well, and we did an awful lot of TV shows, and we went across to America. We were over in England on umpteen times, and it went on and was getting bigger and bigger, and we're getting records in the charts. But of course, the biggest record of all that I ever recorded was When We Were Young. And when I heard Solomon King singing When We Were Young, I was absolutely knocked over it, but I wanted to have a go at it anyway, so I tried it, and I found it a bit high because I was singing all sort of Pat Boone type of things, nice and noisy, and I was going to give the song to one of the members of the band who had a fine, rangy voice, and I said the arranger for When We Were Young says, Jack, I said, I won't be recording this note all. He says, I'm giving it to this fella, you know. And she went, yeah. Says, I couldn't hit those notes at all. See, do you know what's wrong with you, Lynch? She says, you're too bloody lazy, he said. So anyway, cut long story short, a week before the recording came off, that fella was supposed to go into the studio to sing it, and a couple of other members of the band decided to leave. And I said to him, Fergie Burke, Fergie says, You're leaving. I said, and that I'm telling you, that song is going to be a number one. I said, When We Were Young, you know. She said, Solomon King couldn't make a number one of it. How do you expect me to make a number one of it?
And so the job of singing When We Were Young fell to Pat Lynch. Where Solomon King had failed, Lynch's version did make it to number one and spent 6 weeks in the top spot.
One beautiful day when we were young, and we had spring on our side, and love didn't hide from the sun. On with the years, then came the tears, and as we learned how to cry, our beautiful day passes by. We used to live only for love, our little world below and heaven above. Yes, we were living only for loving. Your heart and mine were one when we were young. Remember the night, so still and warm, and all the stars in the skies made love to your eyes till dawn. When did we start to drift apart? One day I'll find you, and then our love will be young once again. We used to live only for love, our little world below and heaven above. Yes, we were living only for loving. Your heart and mine were one when we were young. Yes, we were living only for loving. Your heart and mine were one when we were young.
Pat Lynch and the Airchords and When We Were Young. The song reached number one in the Irish charts on the 10th of April 1971. It remained there for 1 week, but returned again to the top spot in May of that year. On Where the Road Takes Me this evening, we bring you the story of Corkman Pat Lynch, lead singer initially with the Clipper Carlton and later the Airchords. His life and music continues again in part 2.